How are you, my dear students? Now we're gonna start 34.3 Fetal Development. After talking about the menstrual cycle and talking about the preparation for carrying a new baby or new embryo, let's talk about the fetal development. What if there is fertilization occurred? Where does fertilization take place? It takes place in fallopian tubes. What if there is fertilization? What will happen? What will happen and what will happen to the fetus inside the mother's body? So now let's talk about the development progresses in stages from zygote to fetus. The first step, the fertilized egg implants into the uterus. Fertilization occurred already in the fallopian tube here. Look here. After that, the zygote will go to the lining of the uterus or the uterine wall to stick to it to start pregnancy. So the fertilized egg implants into the uterus and is nourished by the placenta and umbilical cord. So inside the uterus, you will find two important organs, the placenta and umbilical cord. What's placenta? This is the structure to connect the embryo to the uterus. The embryo to the uterus. And also it nourishes the embryo with nutrients, plus it gives the embryo oxygen, and also it helps in getting rid of wastes. How? Does it mean that the blood of the woman will mix with the blood of the baby? Of course not. Actually, what happens is diffusion of oxygen and nutrients into the chorionic villi. Those are the chorionic villi which are connected to the blood of the embryo. So number one, diffusion of nutrients and oxygen into the chorionic villi, and the chorionic villi will send those nutrients and oxygen into the blood of the embryo. What's the role of the umbilical cord? To connect the baby to the placenta, and also it helps in the transport of nutrients. The umbilical cord composed of two arteries and one vein to carry nutrients, oxygen, and to get rid of wastes. Where will the wastes go? The wastes will go back to the woman's blood and will be excreted through urination. So as I told you, the zygote will implant inside the uterus after becoming a blastocyte. So the zygote becomes a blastocyte and implants in the uterus. This is the blastocyte. Here it's like a ball. If you remember, you know that this ball composed of three layers: ectoderm, mesoderm, endoderm. The ectoderm will develop the skin nervous system, mesoderm to develop the internal tissues and organs, endoderm to form the digestive organs, the lining of the viscera and digestive organs. So mesoderm for bones, also endoderm, digestive organs and viscera, ectoderm for the skin and nervous system. Here is the blastocyte. We'll move to the lining of the uterus. This is fallopian tube and this is the uterus. The blastocyte becomes an embryo. After more growing, the blastocyte will form the embryo. The embryonic membranes protect and nourish the embryo. There are membranes to protect the embryo. Like there is amniotic membrane and amniotic sac. The amniotic sac, what the benefit of having this amniotic sac? This amniotic sac cushions the embryo to protect the embryo. It has amniotic fluid inside to protect the embryo. Placenta connects the mother and embryo, connects the uterus to the embryo, umbilical cord to connect the embryo to the placenta, and I told you about the function of the umbilical cord.